When you think of World War II generals, who comes to mind? Patton with his ivory-handled pistols? MacArthur with his corncob pipe and dramatic flair? Eisenhower, the supreme commander? These are the giants of history, their legends etched in stone. But what about the man who commanded more American troops than any general in U.S. history? The quiet, unassuming leader known as the GI's general. This is the story of Omar Bradley, the unseen architect of Allied victory. Born in rural Missouri in 1893, Bradley's early life was marked by modesty and hard work. He didn't come from a military dynasty or a wealthy family. His path to greatness began at West Point in the legendary class of 1915, a class that would later be called the class the stars fell on. He graduated alongside Dwight D. Eisenhower, and their careers would be intertwined for the rest of their lives. While many of his classmates earned their stripes in the trenches of World War I, Bradley spent the war stateside, a fact that he felt held back his early career. But this period wasn't wasted. He became a student of warfare, a master tactician, and an exceptional trainer of men. He learned the nuts and bolts of soldiering, a skill that would prove invaluable. He understood logistics, supply lines, and most importantly, he understood the common soldier. His moment to shine finally came in North Africa in 1943. The American forces had suffered a humiliating defeat at Kasserine Pass. Morale was at rock bottom. Eisenhower needed a steady hand to restore discipline and confidence. He called on his old friend Omar Bradley. Bradley took command of the U.S. II Corps and completely turned it around. He wasn't flashy like Patton, who took over at the same time. While Patton grabbed headlines with his aggressive charges, Bradley quietly and methodically rebuilt the fighting force. He retrained troops, instilled discipline, and focused on sound, fundamental tactics. His efforts paid off spectacularly in the final Allied push in Tunisia, where his II Corps played a decisive role, capturing over 40,000 enemy soldiers. He had proven his mettle. Next came the invasion of Sicily. Bradley, again under Patton's command, led his forces with remarkable efficiency. But it was here that the stark contrast between the two generals became clear. Patton was all about speed and glory, sometimes at a great cost. Bradley was meticulous, calculated, and always prioritized the lives of his men. He believed that objectives should be taken with the minimum possible casualties. This philosophy earned him the deep respect and affection of the soldiers under his command. They weren't just numbers on a map to him, they were his responsibility. This is why he became known as the GI's general. He was one of them. Then came the big one, D-Day, June 6, 1944. As the world held its breath, Omar Bradley was in command of the U.S. First Army, tasked with landing on 2 of the 5 beaches, Utah and the now infamous Omaha Beach. While the landing at Utah went relatively smoothly, Omaha was a catastrophe. The pre-invasion bombardment had failed and the German defenses were far stronger than anticipated. American soldiers were pinned down on the beach, taking horrific casualties. From his command ship offshore, Bradley received devastating reports. For a moment, he considered the unthinkable, evacuating the beach and aborting the landing. It was perhaps the darkest moment of his career, but instead of panicking, he trusted the small unit leaders on the ground. He trusted the grit and courage of his GIs. Slowly, heroically, soldiers began to break through the German defenses, one by one, inch by bloody inch. Bradley's faith in his men was rewarded. Omaha Beach was secured, but at a terrible price. The experience forever shaped him, reinforcing his belief in minimizing casualties whenever possible. After the Normandy breakout, Bradley's role expanded dramatically. He was given command of the U.S. 12th Army Group. This wasn't just a corps or an army. It was a massive formation that eventually comprised over 1.3 million men, the largest single field command in American history. It included 4 separate armies, including Patton's famous Third Army. As the commander of this immense force, Bradley was the master strategist, orchestrating the American advance across France and into Germany. He was the calm, logical center in a whirlwind of chaos and clashing egos. He had to manage commanders like the fiery George Patton and the cautious Courtney Hodges, balancing their different styles to achieve the overall objective. While Patton was racing across France, making headlines, it was Bradley who was managing the intricate logistics, securing the flanks, and making the tough decisions that kept the entire war machine moving forward. He was the chess master moving the pieces, often unseen by the public, but absolutely essential to the game. His leadership was tested again during the Battle of the Bulge, Germany's last-ditch offensive in the winter of 1944. The surprise attack created a massive crisis. Bradley's command was split in two by the German advance. He masterfully coordinated the response, shifting troops to contain the breakthrough and orchestrating the counterattack that ultimately crushed the German offensive. It was his steady, unflappable leadership that helped hold the line during one of the most perilous moments of the war in Europe. After the war, Bradley's service to his country continued. He led the Veterans Administration, tirelessly working to ensure that the millions of returning soldiers received the benefits and care they had earned. He understood their struggles because he had been there with them. He then became the first ever chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the nation's highest-ranking military officer, guiding the armed forces into the new and dangerous era of the Cold War and the Korean War. In 1950, he was promoted to the prestigious 5-star rank of General of the Army, joining the likes of Marshall, MacArthur, Eisenhower, and Arnold. He was the last of the 9 5-star generals of that era to hold the rank. Omar Bradley's legacy isn't one of flamboyant speeches or daring, reckless charges. His is a legacy of quiet competence, meticulous planning, and profound human decency. He was a leader who measured success not in headlines captured, but in lives saved. He represented the very best of the American spirit, humble, hard-working, and deeply committed to the well-being of the people he led. While others may have captured the spotlight, Omar Bradley was the steady, unseen hand that guided the largest American fighting force in history to victory, earning his place as the true GI's general. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story of this often overlooked hero interesting, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history. Let me know in the comments which historical figure we should cover next. See you in the next video.